और कृपा है कि हमारे बीच हमारे गुरुदेव श्रील गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज हमारे बीच में हैं। 3 बार हम हरि बोल बोलकर महाराज का स्वागत करेंगे। हरि बोल, जोर से, कम ऑन हरि बोल, एवरीबॉडी हरि बोल। सो अभी महाराज जितने हमारे इंटरनेशनल डिवोटीज जो अभी प्रोग्राम चल रहा है ऑनलाइन, महाराज उनको संबोधन करेंगे। ये लेक्चर अंग्रेजी भाषा में रहेगा। तत्पश्चात अभी पूर्ण होती नहीं हुई है, कृपया सुने। महाराज का पहले प्रवचन होगा अंग्रेजी भाषा में, तत्पश्चात पूर्ण होती हम महाराज के साथ करेंगे। तत्पश्चात हम सब के लिए हिंदी भाषा में महाराज पुनः प्रवचन करेंगे। तत्पश्चात यज्ञ की समापन होगी। तो कृपया बैठिए। जो भक्त उठे हुए हैं प्लीज सिट डाउन। कोई ना खड़ा हो, प्लीज सिट डाउन एंड फोकस। अभी महाराज अपना लेक्चर प्रारंभ कर रहे हैं और इसके बाद हिंदी भाषा में भी होगा। हरे कृष्णा, प्लीज रिमेन साइलेंट एंड थैंक यू फॉर योर कोऑपरेशन। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. So, this lecture will be in English and a little later we'll speak in Hindi. So this program is being done to thank the devotees all over the world who took part in the Live and To Give campaign. The Live and To Give campaign was inspired by Srila Prabhupada and other leaders, and the purpose is to increase book distribution and to inspire all of you to dedicate your lives to book distribution. This year, for the marathon, devotees all over the world had pledged 2.3 million books. This comes to nearly 23 lakhs. So the devotees all over the world had pledged that they will distribute 2.3 million books. And from India, the pledge was about 2 million books. Now, the marathon is not over as yet. It's going to go on till January 15th. So far, about 75% of the pledges have been realized. This was quite a challenging job this year because of COVID. All over the world, people were scared of going out. But our Mahatma devotees, they said, COVID or no COVID, we are going to do book distribution. Because our December marathon is done to acknowledge Gita Jayanti also. Gita Jayanti comes every year in this month, and the book distribution marathon is our offering to Lord Krishna, who spoke this wonderful philosophy of Gita Jayanti, wonderful philosophy of Gita. So the message of the Bhagavad Gita is meant for the entire world. Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Gita is not a sectarian document. Bhagavad Gita is meant for the entire humanity. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija pradapita. I am the seed-giving living Father. So, Prabhupada presented Gita in its original form without any distortion and published it under the heading Bhagavad Gita as it is. And you'll be pleased to know that this Bhagavad Gita has been translated in almost every major language of the world. And people all over the world are reading the Bhagavad Gita. 1 year ago, even in Pakistan, the government ordered 1,000 copies of Urdu and Sindhi Bhagavad Gita that were distributed in Pakistan. So Bhagavad Gita has a universal message. What are some of the main points of the Bhagavad Gita? One of the points of the Bhagavad Gita is it establishes the position of Ishvara. Ishvara means the Supreme Lord. There is a Supreme Lord who is the cause of all causes. And in almost every page of the Bhagavad Gita it is written, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. What does this mean? It means the Supreme Lord is speaking. What is He speaking? Eternal wisdom, eternal philosophy. For whom? For the benefit of entire humanity. So, one of the topics discussed in the Bhagavad Gita is the topic of the position of Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. We often speculate and we think that all gods are one. Take any path, the result is going to be the same. But the Bhagavad Gita establishes that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna declares that, and that is the conclusion of the Vedas. Then the Bhagavad Gita also establishes the position of the Jiva. That means it establishes who are we? What's my real identity? And that is explained in the second chapter. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Acharya, commented that this second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is most important of the 18 chapters because this gives you knowledge about who you are. The Jayate Mreteva Kadachit, it says, for the soul, there is no birth nor is there any death. The soul is eternal. And the soul is transmigrating from one body to another body. And whatever body will you get, that is dependent upon your action. Then the Bhagavad Gita establishes the position of Prakriti, which means material nature. Material nature works in the whose direction? Krishna says, MyAshray Prakriti. This material nature is working under my direction. For example, you want rain, because without rain and water, no one can survive. But if you perform sinful activities, then you won't get cooperation from material nature. Krishna says, material nature works in my direction. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, food grains come from rainfall. Rainfall is achieved by performing yajna. And when you don't perform a sacrifice, the material nature doesn't cooperate. That's why you see so many earthquakes, floods, drought, COVID, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Each phase is getting more intense. This is because material nature is punishing us for breaking the laws of God. One of the biggest obstacles or more sinful activities today is the killing of innocent cows. The cow is one of our mothers, and when the cow is not protected, then there's very adverse reaction. Then Bhagavad Gita also talks about Kala, time. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, time I am, the destroyer of everything. So time destroys everything. Is that a fact? Yes. You have a handsome body today. Are you going to remain handsome throughout? No. You have a beautiful body today. Are you going to be beautiful tomorrow? No. So, time is of the essence. And the great sage Chanakya Pandit said, a minute lost cannot be made up with the wealth of the entire world. So we use our time very cautiously, not waste a second, and use our time in productive activities. Then the Bhagavad Gita discusses the issue of karma, how we can change our future by acting according to the laws of God. So these are important subject matters explained in the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita is a very ancient book of knowledge. It is also known as Gita Parishad. And it summarizes the entire Vedic literature. If you were to read the Vedas, if you were to make a goal, I'm going to read all the Vedic scriptures. That is an impossible task to achieve. But the summary of the vast Bhagavad Gita is there. Of the vast Vedic knowledge is there in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita you find the summary of the vast Vedic knowledge. And the Vedic knowledge is meant for what? For our benefit, humanity. So it was in Jyotisar. Right now this festival is being held in a place called Jyotisar, which is in Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is internationally known all over the world. Krishna begins, the Bhagavad Gita begins with Dhammakshetra, Kurukshetra. And in the Vedic scriptures we read about the special significance of Kurukshetra. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken over here. The Jagannath Rath Yatra also originated from here. And believe it or not, our ISKCON movement also has its roots in Kurukshetra. You may say, how is that? Prabhupada was searching for assistance to travel to America to fulfill his Guru's order. He was in Kurukshetra on the auspicious occasion of solar eclipse, and he met Srimati Maharaji, pious lady who had a shipping line, and he pleaded with her that she should give assistance so he could go to America. And she said, come and see me in Bombay. So Kurukshetra is historically very ancient and auspicious place. So Prabhupada had opened temples in different parts of the world. And in 1975, ISKCON in Delhi had only one small temple. And that was in Bengali Market, Toramal Lane. We had a 3-room flat where our other Parthasadi deities were there. So one day, around August, September, Gulzarilal Nanda, he was at one time the Prime Minister of India for 2 days each time, twice. And he came to see Prabhupada. Nandaji had taken great interest in the development of Kurukshetra. And he told Prabhupada, you have built temples all over the world. Why don't you do something in Kurukshetra? So Prabhupada said, okay. So on November 30th, 1975, before many of you were born, we came to Kurukshetra with Prabhupada. Prabhupada came in a rented taxi, and there was Amrish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, myself, and a few other devotees. So we came to we came to Kurukshetra. Prabhupada took a dip in the holy Brahmsrovar. And then I believe Prabhupada had a program in Kurukshetra University in the Vice Chancellor's house. And then Prabhupada learned that Jyotisar is a place where the Bhagavad Gita was actually spoken. So Prabhupada said, I want to build a temple in Jyotisar. This is one of my dream projects. And in Jyotisar, This is all part of Jyotisar area. We had earlier obtained land which was adjacent to the tree where Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. But due to too many complications and politics, we gave up that destination and we got this destination, six acres. So we're building this nice temple here. Ashray Gopal is present here. Devotees are helping. And our goal is to have, Prabhupada's goal was to have a Krishna Arjuna temple in Kurukshetra. So what you see in the background is the Krishna Arjuna temple that is being built. So Bhagavad Gita is the book of knowledge. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam. This knowledge is the king of education. Today in society, people lack spiritual education. People are by and large too engrossed in material activities. Krishna explains in the Gita that there's another characteristic of material existence is dukhanayama shashvatam. There's misery and everything is temporary. So Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge, and it is the oldest book of knowledge on the planet. In the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives knowledge on the history of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I imparted this knowledge to the sun god Vivaswan, and this knowledge was gradually lost, and now I'm giving it to you. Why? Why did Krishna accept Arjuna to be the recipient? That is explained by Krishna. Because you are my confidential friend and devotee. Therefore you can understand the transcendental secrets of this great science. So this is a great science. Bhakti, which is the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, implies that if you want to please the Lord, the medium is devotion to the Lord. And devotion comes by practicing the teachings of the Lord as are revealed in the scriptures. So Bhagavad Gita is a book of knowledge. These days, we are all pursuing material education. Our goal is that yes, this material education will give you material happiness, will give me happiness. But there are two types of happiness, material and spiritual. Material happiness is temporary. And material happiness results in a negative way. And spiritual happiness is permanent, everlasting, and always increasing. So Prabhupada, as you know, encouraged book distribution. And in the month of December to January, which coincides with Gita Jayanti, devotees of ISKCON all over the world make an extra attempt to distribute books. Why? Why is it that Prabhupada encouraged book distribution? And why did he tell, if you want to please me, distribute my books? Prabhupada, being a Vaishnava of the highest order, Vaishnava is described to be paradukha dukhi. When he sees others in trying to pursue happiness by material means, he feels very compassionate and he tries to save them. Just like if you see a black man, just like if you see a blind man walking on the road, then what do? Let him walk on the wrong path and get run over? No. you hold his hand and put him on the right path. So people buy an Ashray compared to blind men. And those who have vision take it as their responsibility to enlighten them. So the reason why Prabhupada encouraged book distribution is to save humanity, and to save humanity from destruction. If they have spiritual knowledge, they will know the higher values of life. Today, universities around the world are teaching Bhagavad Gita. Today, students around the world are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is. People all over the world are joining ISKCON due to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita has the answer to all your questions and the solution to every problem. We have so many problems. Arjuna was also confused, isn't it? In the second chapter, Arjuna says, now I'm confused about my duty. Please instruct me. I'm a soul surrendered unto you. And then Krishna begins to speak the philosophy.
एक खुशखबरी है, महाराज हमें हिंदी में संबोधन करेंगे। तत्पश्चात आप सबके लिए गर्मा गर्म प्रसाद। तो कृपया अपने स्थान पर रहें। एंड सबसे पहले श्रील प्रभुपाद